Ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know, yesterday we got a ton of information for Modern Warfare 2. They put out a blog post, it discussed multiplayer, all the weapons in the game, how leveling was going to work, and we went over that yesterday, as well as talking about how to get early access to the game, a buyer's guide, and everything like that. But one thing that we got inside of that blog post yesterday was all of the operators that are going to be in the game at launch, and all of their backstories, which, if you guys know me at all, I love story for Call of Duty. We always go in depth with story, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be diving into all of those operators, every single one of their backstories, breaking them down, talking about how they tie into the overall story of Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. So I'm excited for this one. If you like Call of Duty story, if you want to see more videos like this one once the game releases, all you got to do to show me is hit that like button. But without further ado, we have a lot of characters to talk about, so let's dive into it. So as far as the operators and how they work within Modern Warfare 2, essentially there is 25 operators at launch. 2 milsim operators are characters from campaign, the ones you can see at the bottom, Pharah, Ghost, Price, and Soap. Alongside these, we have 18 different operators that you can unlock via challenges in Spec Ops, campaign, and multiplayer. And once you unlock all of them, you can use them in both Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer and Spec Ops, and of course, once Warzone 2 comes out, that as well. Now, essentially, there are 2 different factions of operators. They say that both of these are paid for mercenaries, and essentially they're fighting against each other within the games. Now, it appears as though the one that we are looking at here, the first one we're going to look at, called the Spec Group, they're essentially the good guys. They're the one that Ghost, Price, Soap, and Pharah are on, so we can kind of assume that these are the good guys. Now, each of these characters has their own backstory. There's a lot to dive into here, so let's start out from the very beginning. So the first character we have is Manuel Chewie Ordaz. And as far as this goes, there's going to be a lot of things throughout these bios that I mispronounce. I just want to get that out of the way right away. He is a Mexican soldier formerly enlisted in the Cuerpo de Fuerzas Especial off the recommendation of Alejandro Vargas. Now, what we know about Vargas is he is a member of Task Force 141, and he is one of the leaders of the Los Vercos. Now, using the knowledge he gained while serving in the Mexican Special Forces, he currently trains locals to defend against cartel corruption, even when outmanned or outgunned. And as we know, this is going to be a big thing throughout the campaign, the cartel and fighting against the cartel with Task Force 141 and Los Vaqueros. Next up, we have Sabaslaw Gromsko Koskuisko. Again, gonna mispronounce a lot. He is a Polish modern-day Hauser, part of the Wojciech 2305, aka the Group of Operational Maneuvering Response. Known for his extensive medical training and ability to conduct covert operations, just as the group's motto always suggests. Not really much to take away from him, other than the fact that he's a medic. The next character is Gustavo Gus Rodriguez. He is a Costa Rican police officer within the Unidad Especial de Intervención, Counterterrorism, and Hostage Unit, specializing in asset rescue and protection. Formerly a member of his country's Policía Pública law enforcement agency. So essentially, he is a police officer and he specializes in counterterrorism and on top of that, hostage rescue. Our next character goes by the name of Cleo, aka Cleopatros Gavres, and she comes from a Greek Zeta Amphibious Raider Squadron, aka ZMAC. This Special Forces officer is a part of the Greater Hellenic Armed Forces. She specializes in stealth combat and is known for her green eyes of Hades, the last thing to see your enemies before their death. This is where things get interesting because we have some Modern Warfare 2019 references here. So Tsi Luna Mingzu is a first-generation Singaporean American and a West Point graduate. She is part of the ground branch within the CIA's Special Activities Center, or SAC, which we've seen many times in Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare, following the refusal of promotion. They were critical in tracking down the Al-Qatala cell responsible for the London terror attacks in Modern Warfare's 2019 campaign. So essentially what that's talking about is the Piccadilly Circus attack within Modern Warfare 2019. This character was responsible for tracking the Al-Qatala down who had actually done this. In other words, the person responsible for getting to the clean house in the clean house mission. Nila Nova Brown, a British 42nd Commando L Company leader within the Royal Marines, specializing in rescuing downed airmen. A third-generation pilot, her nickname was awarded to her after her Royal Air Force mission, where she sacrificed her aircraft to destroy another in supernova fashion. Enzo Reyes, a former Canadian Special Operations Regiment member with encyclopedic knowledge of military history and small team tactics. After lying about his age and forging signatures for selection, he butted heads with instructors before serving multiple tours in Al-Mazrah and Urzikstan. So Al-Mazrah is where the Warzone 2 map takes place, and Urzikstan is obviously from Modern Warfare 2019, leaving in 2020 to join the multinationals' deniable forces. Zeke Zemo Wong is a Chinese private military contractor and formerly a member of the Sharp Blade Commandos. I really don't have much to say about that one, nor do I know what the Sharp Blade Commandos are. This next one is so exciting to me because we finally get some information on Hadir. Our next character is Pharah Karim. As we know, she is the founder and leader of the Urzikstan Liberation Force, a trusted ally to Task Force 141, and a estranged sister to Hadir, an Alcatala asset whose fate is currently unknown. In other words, we're gonna see more from Hadir. I still think he's Khalid al-Assad, just my opinion, but I'm very glad that they included that in her bio because it brings up a whole bunch of red flags for me. Cannot wait to see what they do with this. Moving on to Simon Ghost Riley, a lieutenant within Task Force 141, serving on numerous short-term covert assignments in classified location, redacted past, a man of few words, legendary soldier that needs no introduction. I think that's a very good description of him. One thing that's interesting there is he is now a lieutenant within Task Force 141, which means he's going to be one of the leaders and not just a follower of Captain Price. Captain John Price, we've got a new one here. I want you to pay close attention to what this description says. Former 22nd Special Air Service Regiment member, known by call sign Bravo 6. This is the stuff we already know, but currently leads Joint Operations Squadron Task Force 141 with the help of CIA Station Chief Kate Laswell and oversight of General Shepard under the Five Eyes Alliance. Now, I did a little bit of research, and the Five Eyes Alliance is actually a thing. It's an alliance composed of Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, and the United States, and it's basically an intelligence community within the CIA and things like that, which will probably, since it's in his bio, play a larger role within the campaign. So stay tuned for more about that. And then finally, we have our new guy, Johnny Soap Mctavish. I thought his name was just John Mctavish, but I guess it's Johnny. As far as he goes, sniper and demolitions expert, hand-selected for Task Force 141, youngest candidate to pass Special Air Service selection in the Royal Army history, known for cleaning house as a highly decorated officer under the tutelage of Captain John Price. So seemingly, when he is introduced in this game, it's going to be a very similar relationship to what we saw in the previous Modern Warfare trilogy, where he is kind of under the wing of Captain Price, and I can't wait to see that relationship formed and where it's going to go in the campaign. So moving over to the core tac, essentially what I'm seeing from these guys is they're not necessarily bad guys. Again, both of these groups are paid for mercenaries, but these ones have much less tie-ins to the overall Modern Warfare story and seemingly fight against the other guys a lot of the time. So yeah, I guess you could call them the bad guys. But moving into their characters, the first one we have is Tor Axel Eriksson, a Norwegian, good luck saying this one, Marine Jäger Commandoin, an all-around specialist, considered a modern-day Viking with a full spectrum of abilities, from diving to halo jumping, EOD to hostage rescue situations. So essentially a jack of all trades and Norwegian. That's what I took from this one. Kalisto Allard, a French-Spanish descent of France's last royal family who rebelled to join the elite Chasseurs Alpines of the 27th Mountain Infantry Brigade, an expert of high-altitude combat known for incredible accuracy, especially her preferred weapon, the bow. That is interesting because as of right now, a crossbow or bow isn't in the game whatsoever, so maybe we'll see that's added at some point into the game. Conor Magnuson, an Icelandic Coast Guard member who at one point was recruited by Kate Laswell for a special operation. So we don't know what that operation is. Maybe it'll come into play within the campaign. We'll have to wait and see, but that is all the information we have on Conor. Fender Takacs, a Hungarian Zazalos, in other words, a master sergeant of the country's defense forces who specializes in high-value targets, demolitions, and urban warfare. Raised without knowing the identity of his father, a great CIA operator, he was told to always hide his face, doing so with a custom helmet. Now, that one's really interesting to me because they raise a lot of questions. Who is his father? And he's a great CIA operator. You know it's going to come into play somehow. We're going to figure it out. So that is one thing I'm looking forward to doing once the game actually comes out. We're going to be diving into that. Kim Harangi Hong Gin. This is one of the beta operator skin rewards, and he is a South Korean gambler turned soldier of fortune. Once assigned to the ROK Armed Forces 13th Special Mission Brigade, an expert in subduing high-value targets with extreme risk tendencies. Really not too much to take away from that one other than he likes gambling. So this one's weird. It kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit. Darnell Hutchinson, an American college football athlete turned Marine network and data specialist. With the help of the Call of Duty endowment, he found employment in private cybersecurity sector after 4 years of active duty service, but ultimately transitioned back once he learned about the Marine Corps Force's Cyber Command. So essentially, he often works behind computers, but he is now a part of this Marforce Cyber. Koenig, an Austrian JAG commando within his country's special forces, only known to be a mountain of a man with a sniper hood covering his face. Really not much to go off of there. He uses a sniper and he covers his face. Roslyn Rose Helms, you may recognize that name from Modern Warfare 2019, an American Army Ranger who was formerly contacted by the Jackals to eliminate Al-Qatala in Africa, and Shadow Company to seek order in Verdansk. So again, the same character from Modern Warfare 2019. Highly sought after for her proficiency in small unit tactics and close combat engagements. In other words, her character's outfit in Modern Warfare 2019 was so dark that in Warzone she could hide in corners and no one could see her. She then ripped up her contract within the tumultuous company and her dark suits in early 2022 to align with Spec Group. Okay, that's hilarious. They even acknowledged the fact that her outfit was way too dark in Modern Warfare 2019. I didn't expect to read that. Salvatore Stiletto Muselli, an Italian law enforcement officer within the Carabinieri's anti-mafia and anti-drug task force, notorious for her signature switchblade, so maybe we'll be seeing that as a DLC melee weapon, a fearless urban warfare specialist that used her experience against the Camorra to train police forces against their other crime syndicates and terrorist cells, including those in Los Almas. So that is the terrorist cell within Mexico that we see in the campaign. So she kind of worked and helped train people to fight against those drug cartels and terrorists and things like that, which is interesting and a cool tie-in to the campaign. This next character is interesting because out of any of the characters, this is one of the ones that gives us by far the most backstory into the actual character. So Sammy Zero Zakiria, an Egyptian Task Force 777 operator, part of the counterterrorism unit within the country's premier El Saka forces. His name comes from his journey to service, grief-stricken after surviving a nightclub attack that saw him lose his sister. He sacrificed his opulent and privileged life for a selfless position in protecting others. This is like a Black Ops 4 backstory. I'm wondering if we get some sort of cutscene for this, because that's pretty cool to see that much backstory for a character, and I'm wondering if we get more on it. Similarly, another character that has a lot of backstory is Hiro Oni Wantanabe. Now, this is a PlayStation exclusive character, which I don't love to see, but this is a Japanese descendant of a centuries-old samurai clan who left home as a teenager to avoid following his father's wishes of him joining a crime syndicate. After serving abroad, he joined his country's special assault team, but was dishonorably discharged thanks to the influence and power of his father. Now a leader of the same syndicate, currently Oni is a gun for hire who vows for justice under the old samurai code. So his father is a higher up in a crime syndicate, and he decided to fight him instead of joining him. So those are all of the characters. As I mentioned, these core tag characters are not bad guys. It just seems as though they are fighting against our main characters of Task Force 141. So I think that's more so how they will be perceived. I'm interested to see what the story of these two different clans kind of are moving forward, how that story is pushed forward, but we'll have to wait and see, and time will tell. I'm hoping we get more and more backstory on new characters, on these characters. There's a lot of questions left unanswered. Like like for Pharah, for example, or Fender, his father being the CIA asset. It's going to be interesting to see where these stories go moving forward, but this is what we have for now. If you enjoyed the video, always appreciate it if you hit that like button. New to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn notifications on to stay up to date on all my videos. We got plenty more story coming over the next week with the campaign coming out, so stay tuned. I'm going to be streaming it tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard.